The DAO hack didn't just split Ethereum's blockchain, it fractured the founding team. While Vitalik Buterin argued the hard fork was necessary to save the ecosystem, several co-founders saw it as the ultimate betrayal of Ethereum's decentralized principles. The decision to rewrite the chain's history exposed fundamental differences that would ultimately drive half the original team away from the project within a year. Gavin Wood, Ethereum's former CTO and author of its technical specification, was among the first to publicly distance himself. In a 2016 blog post shortly after the fork, Wood wrote that Ethereum was no longer the system I originally designed. His concerns went beyond the DAO reversal. He saw Ethereum drifting towards centralized decision-making with core developers and the foundation wielding disproportionate influence. By early 2017, Wood had stepped back from active Ethereum development to focus on parity technologies, which would become the foundation for his new project, Polkadot. Polkadot's design directly addressed Wood's frustrations with Ethereum. Unlike Ethereum's single-chain architecture, Polkadot positioned itself as a blockchain of blockchains, emphasizing interoperability between networks and formal governance mechanisms. Wood built in on-chain voting and treasury systems, creating what he called a more mature form of decentralized governance. This stood in stark contrast to Ethereum's informal processes that had led to the contentious DAO fork. Anthony Iorio, Ethereum's early financier and one of its most public-facing figures, also began reducing his involvement. While he remained nominally involved with the Ethereum Foundation until 2018, Iorio shifted focus to his venture studio Decentral and the Jaxx wallet. His departure was less about ideological differences and more about pursuing new opportunities, but it removed another stabilizing presence from Ethereum's early days. Jeffrey Wilcke, who had led development of the critical Go Ethereum client, quietly stepped back in 2017. Unlike Wood's public critique, Wilcke never framed his reduced role as a protest, but his timing coincided with other departures. Without fanfare, he handed over maintenance of Geth to new developers and focused on gaming projects. His exit left Ethereum's technical foundations increasingly in the hands of developers who joined after the original vision had taken shape. Mihai Alisie, co-founder of Ethereum's Swiss entity and editor of Bitcoin magazine, had been drifting away even before the DAO hack. His project Akasha represented an early experiment in decentralized social media, but by 2016 he was spending more time on that than Ethereum core development. The DAO controversy accelerated his departure. Alisie later said it marked the moment Ethereum compromised on its ideals. Amir Chetrit, often the most enigmatic founder, disappeared from Ethereum circles entirely by late 2016. Initially involved in business development, Chetrit had reportedly clashed with other team members over commercialization strategies. His LinkedIn profile shows no mention of Ethereum after 2015, an unusually clean break compared to other founders who leveraged their Ethereum association for new ventures. By mid-2017, only 2 original founders remained deeply involved with Ethereum: Vitalik Buterin, Joseph Lubin, and a handful of early developers who joined slightly later, like Vlad Zamfir. This exodus wasn't just about personnel changes. Each departing founder took pieces of Ethereum's original vision and reinterpreted them elsewhere. Wood built Polkadot as a more governance-focused chain. Iorio pursued wallet infrastructure, while Alisie experimented with social applications. The departures created an unexpected consequence. They turned Ethereum into a proving ground for competing ideologies. Where the founders disagreed on governance, scalability, or decentralization, their new projects became living experiments testing different solutions. Polkadot's sharded architecture, Cardano's research-driven approach, and ConsenSys' enterprise focus all represented roads not taken by Ethereum itself. These fractures also changed Buterin's role. With fewer co-founders to challenge him, he became Ethereum's undisputed ideological leader, a position that sometimes put him at odds with the remaining community when making unpopular decisions. The days of 8 equals debating Ethereum's direction were over, replaced by a clearer hierarchy. As these founders built new projects, they didn't just walk away, they became competitors. Wood's Polkadot would later attract developers frustrated with Ethereum's scaling timeline. Hoskinson's Cardano positioned itself as the academic alternative. Even in absence, the departed founders continued shaping Ethereum by forcing it to differentiate itself from their visions. The DAO hack revealed more than a security flaw. It exposed how fragile Ethereum's founding coalition had become. What began as a tight-knit group united by Buterin's white paper had splintered under the pressures of growth, money, and philosophical differences. By 2018, Ethereum's original team looked less like a collaboration and more like a network of rivals, each carrying forward different fragments of the same revolution. Their departures cleared space for new voices in Ethereum's ecosystem, but also set patterns that would repeat for years. Technical disagreements leading to forks, debates over decentralization versus pragmatism, and founders leaving to build competing visions. The DAO was just the first crisis to drive people away. Soon, scaling battles would push even more developers to reconsider their allegiances.